Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Making Sense of Your Markets. Today is Monday, it's September 27th, 2021. Have another incredible episode for you this week. I get to answer the number one question that I've been asked over the last 2 years, and I currently continue to get asked this question. Dan, are we headed toward a bubble or are we in a bubble, and what will it look like when it pops? And I've been encouraged to do some research on this topic because I want to try to answer this with data. Well, last week I got to listen to one of my mentors, Barry Habib. He's one of the top economists in the mortgage space, talk about this exact question and the importance of understanding three variables: rates, home values, and get this, total household income. And I'm going to share some information with you over the last 15 years that might blow your mind, and I 100% agree that it will answer the question with you and for you about are we headed toward or are we in a real estate bubble. But before that, every single week I talk about interest rates. Are they up or down week over week? Well, this last week, mortgage rates went up, and they went way up week over week. It's probably the largest week over week increase in mortgage rates that I've seen in a long time. It had to do with the Fed talking about tapering, meaning they're going to stop buying mortgage-backed securities. That one comment led to a mortgage bond sell-off and rates went up. Interest rates are still low, but they went up. Last week, they were at about 2.75 to 2.99. This week, they're at about 2.99 to 3.125, depending on how many points you want to pay, your down payment, credit score, type of property. So if you have any questions about interest rates or purchasing a home or refinancing your home, it's still a great time. Reach out to me, and I'd love to get you some information on that. All right, so jumping into our lesson this week, which is week 23 of our 52-week series of the best, I think in my opinion, it's the best self-improvement book ever written, and it's the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So I want to talk about our lesson plan here before I answer the bubble question. So this week is all about eliminating the unimportant. So you have to understand, to fully understand this, you need to go back and watch the last 2 or 3 weeks episodes where we talk about the 4 quadrants of time management. You cannot manage time. However, you can make better use of your time. And when a task is presented to you, placing it in one of those 4 quadrants will really help you make better use of your time. And so I want to read this to you because Dr. Stephen R. Covey really breaks it down simply this week. He says, ask yourself, how much time am I spending in quadrants 3 and 4? And what price am I paying to stay there? You have to understand that quadrants 3 and 4 are time robbers, activities that steal from you without giving back. And I want to close with this quote that he gives, and it's so powerful. You have to decide what your highest priorities are and have the courage, pleasantly, unapologetically, to say no to other things. And the way that you do that is having a bigger yes burning inside of you. So when you're crystal clear on where you're going and what it takes to get there, you have the ability to say no, or you have the ability to take certain tasks and set them aside because it's going to take away from you getting to where you want to get to in the most efficient amount of time. So great lesson this week, eliminate the unimportant, which, this ties in nicely to the conversation that I want to have around, are we heading into a bubble? Eliminating the unimportant it has to do with a lot of the fears, a lot of the naysayers that aren't mortgage professionals, that aren't economists, that aren't professional real estate agents that really understand and know the markets. It might be someone at work around a water cooler. It might be a family member that doesn't know what they're talking about, but they're saying things and they're discouraging you from making a financial decision that could pay dividends down the road. And so eliminating the unimportant relative to this week's lesson, are we headed toward a bubble? Are we in a bubble? When you hear people talking about things they're not professionally involved in, discredit their advice. Maybe, don't be rude, but bring it to someone like myself. And I will give you a straightforward answer like I'm going to today. I want you to think about this. If we're heading toward a bubble or are we in a bubble, I want you to think about these 3 things. Think about 2006, the peak of the last housing market. Right after that, it crashed. In 2006, we're going to pick one particular home. This particular home in 2006 was worth $400,000. The payment on that home, just assuming 5% down, was $2,278 a month. Okay, that same exact home 2021, so let's say 15 years later, is $565,000. So a 40+% increase in price. That's why people are talking about a bubble, because of the massive increase in home values over the last 15 years. But that's 15 years. That same home is worth $565,000 today, but get this, the mortgage payment for that same exact home that went up 40% in value is actually $2,222 a month, $50 less a month than that same home that was purchased back in 2006. See, in 2006, mortgage interest rates were 5.5% to 6%. Today, they're 2.75% to 3%. Interest rates play a huge role. Now it gets better. Get this. The average household income for that particular home back in 2006 was $76,000. Today, the average household income for that same exact home in that same exact community is $110,000. It's a 30% increase in wages. So housing-wise, the housing debt-to-income ratio back in 2006 for that house was 31%. Today, it's 19%. Today, homeowners are putting away or have the ability to put away more money because of home affordability. So are we headed toward a bubble? No. Are we in a bubble? No. We have natural, healthy home affordability due to low interest rates. Home values are going to go up because of supply and demand. But the interest rates, people want to talk about getting a deal. People want to talk about should I buy now or should I wait? You should buy now if you're in the market because of interest rates. The interest rate, the low interest rates are your deal. Rates are going to go up in the next 6 to 12 months. And when they go up, that $565,000 house is going to be $350 to $500 more a month if interest rates go up a half a point to 1 point, which they will because that's where they were prior to COVID. So I hope this information was helpful. Listen, I do not professionally believe that we are headed toward a bubble. I think now is one of the best times in the history of America to purchase a house because of low interest rates and because of affordability. We're paid more, we can afford it, and our housing debt-to-income ratio is much lower now than it's ever been. Share this information with someone that it can help. I sure hope it helped you kind of uncover that question. If you have any questions, reach out to me. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sharing this information, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.